All right, hello and welcome everybody to the not northern, we changed the name. It's going off great already. The Western Hopium Dead, episode number 16. I am joined tonight here by Halfling, as always, and Beesin. He's got his logo up there because he'll be joining us later on in the stream to talk all things Worlds, LCS, and the West in general. How you doing tonight, Halfling?
Doing pretty good. I've got a long day ahead of me. Some local competition. Happy to see one big change. Of course, we talked about it a while ago at the LCS, and coming back. It should be coming back, I think, late January. So pretty excited for that. We're in this like weird downtime. All the rumors are coming out. All the people are kind of flinging shit at each other. But never been a greater time to just be a fan of sports team.
Honestly, yeah. And I mean, speaking of the LCS and those rumors, why don't we start off there with the some of the LCS roster updates and rumors that have been going around. So I think the one that everybody's kind of had their eye on here is that Busio move over to the LEC on Carmine Corp, which I am a massive fan of. I saw a lot of people like David Shynock crashing out on Twitter and on YouTube about how it's like the death of the LCS. I'm like, bro, we've taken their best players for quite a long time, so how about we pump the brakes over there? But yeah, Busio joining Kalist over there in that bot lane, already looking like a contender for best bot in the West, in my opinion. So what were your initial thoughts when we saw Busio going over there to Carmine Corp?
It was not a lot of shock. It was like, oh damn. But it's not like I completely expected him to get imported somewhere. Not necessarily to Carmine Corp, to be honest. I was honestly expecting Fnatic of all teams to kind of swing their dick around there because they've apparently got a wallet again. But Carmine Corp...
The Sam Matthews DJ sets have been giving them a lot of money.
But they are a phenomenal bot lane. You've got Busio, who's now worked with Inspired, who's been under kind of this like European influence forever, going I'm pretty sure following Nukeduck all around with 100 Thieves into FlyQuest, if not like missed a year but spent 2 years on the FlyQuest roster under Inspired, Whippo, and Nukeduck and Mithy. So there's no culture shock at all aside from like actually living in Europe for him, so that'll be a very good environment. He's been a very blunt person too, so I'm excited in general for the change. Still not gonna watch KC games.
Oh my god! At the start of this season, you were like, "All right, I'm gonna be the LEC guy. I'm gonna watch the LEC games."
LEC guy. I tuned in for like 3 weeks. Snoozers entire time. It was that slow, like absolutely painful, not methodical, not thought of, just painful LEC. And I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'm going back. I'm gonna go watch the LCS.
Their format sucked too, though. Like they had a lot of people very upset with their format, but that's been updated along with the LCS one. It's true. It was pretty bad. The one, I think it was Noah from Giant X tweeted that they were like going like 3 weeks or almost a month without in between their two series, which is just actually insane. But Busio's headed over there now. And it seems like FlyQuest is kind of imploding because Inspired also has left the team, choosing to join a project on Lion. And ThinkCard is now joining as the FlyQuest coach, which leads me to believe that Nukeduck is out. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Maybe he ends up on Lion. I know they dropped their coaching staff. Lion did release all of their coaching staff ahead of the Inspired move, so there's a chance that Nukeduck Inspired came over as a package. But yeah, Lion taken Inspired alongside Saint now. I believe that's the only confirmed members of that roster. I know they had been trying to get Zamudo in the top lane on that team last season, but there were some visa issues. So, I mean, already, like, if it's Saint, Zamudo, Inspired, that's a really strong top side already.
Yes, 100%. And then the Smash rumors coming on through, hype for that. But I think a funny thing with FlyQuest is if you remember the Whippo comments that you so hate to get brought up every time. And, like, they, as, like, a reflex, FlyQuest partnered with the Game Changers team for the tournament. They very promptly, on the 11th, ended that partnership with the Game Changers team. So they partnered with the Game Changers team for a solid, just under 2 months there. So not a bad situation for either. I don't believe Eterna actually, Eterna's the team that they partnered with. I don't believe they placed too well, but that's because they're at a tournament with. Oh no, they went 3-0 in groups. I didn't watch this Game Changers. I've been paying attention to Valorant.
I didn't either. But I mean, apparently it was pretty good. Things I've heard, but hey.
Regardless, G2 Hell's at the team, and they're the only serious Game Changers org that I've ever seen. So I'm not gonna do too well there. But the coaching rumors is kind of interesting because Nukeduck is this pretty big wild card where we've seen him work kind of more with solid squads, which is why I understand why he's leaving FlyQuest. And it tells me that they're deciding that their core is quad Masu, which is interesting to me because Masu can definitely flex into that like hard carry role like we see with Yan, where you can very easily build a team around Yan now at this point. He's got an identity. He is this hard carry player alongside Core JJ. But Masu, on the other hand, he's pretty fluid. He can definitely flex into both the like support of your Jhin, your Ashe, your Varus, your Sivers, and then he can be this like aggressive Corki player as well, and Kaisa. But building a team around someone like that is kind of risky because yes, you've got the flexibility, but you don't have an identity to build around. You're building the identity with a bunch of players who you don't know if they work together at all. And that's a very, very big risk. Now, unless you've got something else, so we can actually stay on the topic, though. Great conversation for risks. Parth, ex-TSM head coach, has been dropping a couple of videos talking about the state of the LCS and saying that he's pretty disappointed in what's happening. And I don't hate to agree. I do agree with what he's saying about stuff, but I don't think this is the kind of intelligent risk that he mentioned teams should take.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, so an intelligent risk I do think that is being taken right now is Dominate joining Cloud9. I think that's awesome. I think this guy's analysis has been so on point for years. I think he's the best Western analyst out there, including the casters and professional analysts, by the way. I think, like, if you just watch his co-stream, his level of analysis is so much higher to the point where he's, like, calling what the teams are going to draft, like, in matches, like, before they pick it. So he clearly has his eye on the ball as far as, like, champ priority goes. We saw, some mixed success with the C9 remote coaching, but all the players seemed to vibe with him, and actually was a large part of the reason he wanted to go in person was because a lot of the players and the staff were like, we want you here. And he was been itching for that competition himself as well. So really, really hyped to see that move. I will dominate the C9. Kind of harkens back to the era where C9 picked up LS for the coaching staff, which was an absolute clusterfuck. That was just a giant disaster. But something tells me the Dom one will go a little bit smoother than that one. But
oh my god!
But Loki also leaving C9, and apparently one C9 player is going to be going to the LEC, and Reaper is already going to the LEC. Actually, we didn't mention that, but Reaper is joining KC as their coach.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough, honestly. Yes, Reaper is this storied coach of C9 old, of being this permanent international success, but he came back to C9 and the team has almost always struggled under pressure, has seemed to struggle under pressure in games, not only like actual out of game, like, hey guys, we're 2-2, we gotta lock in for this last game, but in situations they seem to always kind of lock up and freeze up and don't know what to do. And no shade to his past as a phenomenal coach for NA. He was 100% a factor in our like late 10 success, or like 2018 2019 success internationally, but KC is a team that already has those issues, and you're putting this coach who now has spent the last 2 years on teams with those issues. It could just exacerbate them. Maybe he's not the problem, but typically with stuff like how to deal with pressure, how to deal with confidence, I always really do look to the coach to fix that. And
someone like Spawn's a great example of being able to foster that within his team.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, Spawn's unknown, but Reaper going to KC is going to be interesting. And then the Sven, the current rumors SK in the rumor in that he streamed at their
they confirmed their AD carry already. It's going to be Jopa.
Okay.
He was a 2-2 AD carry.
So
it's not Sven.
Went to their facility, dressed up in their
gear. Out there rage baited.
Just complete rage baited. just baited. You know what? I respect the shit out of that. I respect that so much.
Yeah, they confirmed the Jopa.
I would have taken to Sven Mickey bot lane, honestly. Could have been very, very interesting. Speaking of Mickey, on SK now, confirmed they're building the roster on him and his almost ideal G2 from 2018 recreation.
Bro, people gotta stop. So people are making that comparison to like the Heretics roster just because it was like perks, but like Mickey and Wonder are like the two pieces that I would actually still take to play in LEC. Like they're legit good. People are like flaming Leader. They're like, oh, Leader is just like a 2-trick or whatever. Well, not you, but like everybody's coming out and saying like, oh, I can't believe you're like putting this faith in this Leader guy kind of thing. And apparently Mickey had tried, to reference that Don Jake interview you mentioned, Mickey had tried to kind of strong-arm Fnatic into like, let's build this roster, like with Leader and Wonder, and but they apparently were not having it, and opted to part ways, which I'm excited to see that SK project.
Needed Humanoid and Poby over Leader. Yes.
Bro, Humanoid, by the way, is probably going to Vitality to reunite with Carzzy, which I think is really cool, of the Mad Lions split winner. So I think he'll come back hungry, and this guy's legit cracked. Like, people act like he's washed. Like, he was on a Fnatic team that didn't have a great environment, and he didn't care. I feel like now he's going to be motivated to actually play good. So I'm excited to see that. But
I hope so.
The only other, like, really LCS stuff we have as far as roster rumors is the TL. They've picked up Quid, which is probably the number one prospect in mid lane from the LCS. So he's over there on TL with Core and Yun, which is already a really, really strong core there for your team. Excuse the pun. Yeah. But their coaches, Rainover and Swiffer, have been released from Team Liquid. So it's, I assume they still have Spawn, but I wonder what kind of other coaches they're going to get. Maybe that's the place where Nuke Duck goes. So we don't really know what's going to be going on with that situation, but there's going to be a lot more coming out. I've been refreshing the Sheep Esports website just to keep up on this news, to see what's going on, because they've been pumping these rumors and roster and transfers and stuff out. So it's been cool to see.
Someone needs to do it. They've been doing a lot better in the past, but some of the timing's definitely a little funky still. But that comes with time in terms of the journalism. But Spawn is this big question mark, because everything last year pointed to him being like, hey, this is kind of my, like, I'm thinking this is my last year. I want to spend time with my kids. They're starting to get old enough to where, like, I think they're starting to get to like 3 or so, which is where you really do want to spend time with your kids. He doesn't want to live here, obviously. That's why he travels for in-person events. So I would expect Nuke Duck to be the coach on TL over Spawn. I love Spawn. I think he is a phenomenal coach, and it's kind of similar to like Chronicle. It's like, I respect what you're doing, but it's very sad that the scene is losing you. So I would expect him to retire off that, and that kind of leaves this big, almost like vacuum of ego on TL, because you're now running Young, Core, and Quid, and aside from Core JJ, who's been like around very strong personalities, I don't see a big strong personality on that team quite yet. Maybe Nuke Duck can help bring that out. Maybe Spawn's staying and is able to kind of like give these players room. But to me, ego is a very, very important thing at the start of a season, because you have to set yourself off on the right foot. We're going into this still kind of shitty first stand tournament. That's what you're trying to qualify for. But the bracket's looking good. Still, we've got a couple more rumors. A big thing, though, you mentioned Humanoid reuniting with Carzzy. Mac is still the coach of Vitality for now. So that'll be another big reuniting.
I thought either one of him or Pad was getting released. I believe one of them is getting released. That might be either. I'm not sure which one it is.
Pad is currently confirmed right now in the GCD. Mac is up in the air, but not off of Vitality. So Mac is still listed, but not, I would say, doesn't have a contract. But Pad is still there. Pad is also still a part of that, like, successful Mad Lion stint.
Oh, yeah.
having someone from there, I think, will help a lot for both those players, because I do want to see another season of Carzy just actually being a really good AD carry.
I do too. That guy is so
saying he's
good.
this great guy, and then I just watch him. I'm like, man, you are LEC, but I need to see you be like first or second team again. I'm done with this like squeezing into third at best.
Yeah, I want to see a resurgence as well. And I mean, just to close off the roster rumor kind of stuff for the LCS, like as far as anything else that's interesting, I think it'll be cool to see what Sentinels ends up doing. Apparently, they want to make a pretty big splash in the LCS scene, and they're looking to spend. I don't really know what their options are. Yeah, so I don't really know what their options are for good players.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, maybe there's a chance where they get APA, which he's like a top half mid laner in the league. I would say APA is a strong, option for them just to have a domestic player, so you can get some import slots opened up.
Funny enough, he's a good strong personality you can build around.
Yeah, he definitely
as long
is.
You give him the space to do it, and you tell him, hey man, you can do a little more than just all chat. Like
that Spawn's firstborn son right there.
Pretty much. Sentinels though, Impact's up, Surdy is up. He's off of Lion, kind of sad, but off of Lion. So
you got the 100 Thieves guys as well. You have like Dokla. You have FBI, Ayla.
So there's quite a few like solid top laners to kind of play as your weak sides. I definitely think Dokla should be the option here. And then I think of jungles, and it's like you lost Yukino, who unironically would have been one of the best junglers for Sentinels to pick up as like Sentinels as a character org over in Valorant. They were very, very big on like grabbing like a young player or two from the native game and then developing them around a bunch of veterans, the standard CS stuff for veterans and a rookie. And we see that in most esports. Yukino was 100% the best jungler for them, and he's gone, stuck on KC, and will be because he's happy over there and doing really well so far.
You got Bwipo jungle as an option? That could be. Hey. I'm just saying, FlyQuest put an announcement out where they said Bwipo will not be playing top lane for us in 2026. So Bwipo could just be playing jungle for FlyQuest in 2026.
Could be playing jungle for FlyQuest. Could play it for Sentinels. Sentinels would stay on brand too because they had Sinatra on Valorant for a long time after he was charged with abusing his girlfriend. So,
okay. Are we really going to equate Bwipo making a dumb comment on this stream with Sinatra abusing his girlfriend?
I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm saying, man, they do have this track record of grabbing these controversial figures. Now, League controversy is a little different than Overwatch Valorant controversy, of course. But we're a little softer over here. So
yeah, Bwipo and Sinatra both hate women, so obviously perfect for the Sentinels brand. That's what we're going with.
Brand. Perfect for Cubert, man, and the couch. Or chair, my bad. Whatever they call it over there. The mid laners, you mentioned APA is up.
Hey, Palafox is dropped by SR. Palafox is available.
Keep that guy there, man.
Support roll swap maybe.
Off. I'm thinking, it's B, right?
Hey, what's up, B?
Whatever. Thinking mid laners. I mean, you could just sign that entire Luminosity roster.
That's true. That is true.
I know they didn't qualify, but they looked pretty good, especially against that DSG that was tailor-made to piss stomp every Tier 2 talent ever.
It's true. I mean, hey, there's a lot of options here for the LCS, and we're going to we'll keep you guys posted on the next episode when there's more roster rumors that come out. We are now joined by Beesin, and we can move to our Worlds conversation. Worlds is over. T1 won yet again with the T1 magic. And honestly, my synopsis of this Worlds, just in 4 words, is it kind of sucked. I didn't think this was a great World Championship. There weren't really a lot of good series. So I kind of wanted to get with you guys to see what your favorite series, or what you thought the best series of the World Championship this year was, because I don't think we were kind of hurting for choice here as far as like some actual banger competitive series. So
there wasn't that many.
There weren't that many, no.
That's
I mean,
the problem. I could pick a best of 3, but I feel like I'm missing out a lot if I select a best of 3.
So I'm thinking maybe a lot of us are just going to have the ALT1 series. That's the one I have personally.
I was staring at that as well.
Yeah.
Like that was the most. It's that or literally finals were the two.
I was
going to
say finals was kind of lit. It's a 5-game telecom war. That was kind of lit.
Yeah, and I know you and me, we were in call talking to the other guys, watching that, and we're like, yeah, they're just gonna fist fight this entire game. They're not really gonna macro as hard as they normally do. They're gonna fist fight, and they did, and that was fun to watch. But I'm thinking. Actually,
okay, so
that happens every time T was in finals. They just fist fight in finals.
It does.
Man.
So if you guys are going to go with finals, I'll go with T1 AL, and I'll touch on that a little bit because it was chronologically earlier.
Oh.
So I thought this was actually the best series of the tournament. I thought it was a really high-skilled series with a lot of back and forth. I thought it kind of showcased the strengths of both teams super well. When you watch the games, I rewatched the series again today, and I'll just go quickly here, just to point on each game and then kind of summarize it. I thought in the first game, so you had game 1 was a T1 stop, pretty much. And I thought the big, like, kind of underlying thing of that game was it was pretty much a draft gap. When you look on the T1 side, they have Scion, and you look on the AL side, they have Ezreal. Every time I see the AD carry is Ezreal and there's an enemy team Scion, that's just an Omega gap. Like, that's never going to be a winning game. Scion is just going to be unkillable perma. And Flandre actually had a pretty good game on the Rek'Sai. He was actually, I think, the best Rek'Sai at the tournament. I don't think that's a very hot take. He actually looked really proficient on the champion with creating space. He laned super well. But in game 1, there weren't, but there were some bad ones, like that Bin Rek'Sai. That was horrendous.
There were some really bad Rek'Sai, that's for sure.
But
that I'm not going to argue against.
In that first game, they did a really good job of shutting down Flandre's flanks on the Rek'Sai. It's something T1's really good at, is their vision game. So draft gap from T1 game 1, they win that. In game 2, there was a fiasco very early on for T1 with their Draven lane where they tried to flash under the tower with the Draven to get the last auto attack onto enemy support, I think it was, might have been AD carry, but they burned all their summoners, didn't get the kill, Draven dies, and enemy AD carry gets a kill on the Sivir, I believe, for, what's his name, Hope, there for anyone's legend, and then just Faker was playing Anivia that game, I'm pretty sure, and he was playing Anivia against a Wukong, an Ambessa, and I think it was a Galio in the mid lane for AL, and that just like looked like such an unplayable Anivia game, because usually when you play Anivia, you want to play it into stuff that just kind of has to run at you, like a Scion, you know, like a Trundle and Udyr, like these kind of champions, but like Ambessa and Wukong can dash over your wall and get straight on top of you, and we saw this so many times in the mid game. Faker gets caught out by the Ambessa ult, like
use the wall against you as well.
Yeah,
on the Poppy. It's just it's kind of just another draft gap where no matter what T1 does, there will come a point in time where they are not allowed to play the game because of how their picks interact with the enemy team picks.
Yeah, the Draven game 2 in Fearless was kind of crazy. Like, I feel like that's something you usually see more in the later stages of the draft, so I think that kind of speaks to like some of the problems with GUMA's champion pool, which we'll get to a little later, but
it's also Jackie Love's best champ.
It's a takeaway from Jackie Love.
It's not his best champ. He's just known for it.
But at the same time, it's also T1 kind of matching the way that Hale drafted that game. Both teams drafted full topside on the first rotation there, so you're stalling AD carry to second. AL catch this, ban out the 2 AD carries, being the Corki and Jhin. That Gumayushi really likes to play at this game. T1 banned the Inara themselves. They're on red side, you have to eat the tax. So when I look at like the rest of the AD carries, that's kind of what I'd want in this game, is just, hey, we're just going to kind of burger flip bot lane and see what goes on. Good or bad at Draven, this is kind of what has to happen here, because otherwise, I mean, I'm doing the same thing on some other AD carry that's early game. Might as well be Draven so I can empower that.
Well, that's just what happens when your AD carry can't play Zeri. But then in the third game, anyone's legend I really liked that the fact that they do this, and I don't think a lot of other teams in the tournament could do this, aside from HLE, was they pick the Aurora, and it's actually a flex, because Flandre can actually play the Aurora top lane. Then they end up taking the Yone into the mid lane with the J4 on Tarzan, and they honestly, like, I think this game was like really, really strong from anyone's legend. They won this game, and I thought they looked really, really, really good. One of the funnier plays to me in this game was the Faker triple Zanyas, where he gets Bard ulted by KL that cancels out like the Yone ultimate from Shanks, and then he goes over to the bush, and then Zanyas and then gets Bard ulted by his own Bards. He's in like a solid like 13 seconds of stasis or whatever, like for so long. But Tarzan is a complete smurf in this game with the Jarvan. Like, when you see like just regular junglers play Jarvan, they get like their flag drag alt combo or they flash alt and they get like 1 or 2 flag drags. But like Tarzan is constantly like knowing the position of his flag, and he gets like multiple drags to his flag in like every fight. So he just always finds really, really good angles. And I think that speaks to like the skill of a player like Tarzan, where even a simple champion like Jarvan, he can like still be extremely mechanically proficient, which I think is awesome. So they ended up winning that one, but
this game also kind of shows another draft thing. It shows is the disadvantage of picking Ziggs without some like global.
The GUMA Ziggs is horrendous. GUMA Ziggs is horrible.
The GUMA Ziggs wasn't. It's not necessarily that
He's
bad
bad
because
Ziggs.
you can enable this with with a good jungler. For Ziggs, thinking
I think it's his lowest win rate
thinking
champion.
Pantheon, thinking Nocturne. I don't really give too
It's
much.
gotta
of
be
a
up
shit
there.
about-
I think
up there.
I think he might have a 0% win rate on Ziggs. I
You
think
still
Blitzcrank.
enable this champion. Like, he's not exactly allowed to succeed in this game when you've got Silas, Blitzcrank, Vi on your team as well. So there's not really a way for him to play the game either. He's not getting enabled. It's another game where T1, it looks like they kind of just they full drafted their top side again, and they just were like, well, shit, we kind of messed up. They've got this Aurora Yone flex, and we're in bad matchups no matter where we go with this. So, GG, well played. Just pick fun shit and move on. Kyle got a good takeaway in the Bard there. And AL did dominate on the objectives, but still kind of struggled in the gold department, and really that's just Zig stuff more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's with towers, man. What are you going to do? So good team fighting from AL.
Well, yeah, and the thing was for AL, like they had an early game lead in almost all of these games as well. Like in game 4, I didn't like to see it, but Skarner picked Tarzan. I mean, Tarzan picked Skarner. Maybe Skarner selected Tarzan. Maybe that's why he had to play it. But Tarzan picked Skarner, and like a lot of the Skarner players we see, they just kind of like try to like do like a semi full clear. Maybe they try to do something early, but he was doing a good job burning flashes early with some of the creative pathing you can do with the Skarner with over the wall. But then we had a Shanks LeBlanc, which looked useless the entire game. And the highlight of this game for me, for anyone's Legends side at least, T1 ended up winning this one, was the Flandre Mordekaiser, which I just thought looked disgusting. Like, he looked really, really good in this Mordekaiser. He almost solo carried a lot of these fights. Like, they had a lead for a good portion of the game, but then T1 in their classic style played a really good vision game and managed to, you know, take fights when they were strong and play around their champion spikes and stuff like that. And then that pushed us to game 5, which I thought was maybe the best game of the series. Tabe did the classic game 5 Jinx pick for the AD carry, which is a kind of a token thing that he does. AL was actually up like 4K at 26 minutes in this game.
What?
But T1 had the soul.
Absolute fuck is hope building on this Jinx.
We can't know. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Horrendous what he builds.
It was very bad.
Phantom Dancer, Kraken Slayer, and then is it not Mortal Reminder? Why do I forget this item? Whatever. The goddamn armor shred with heal cut.
He does have Mortal Reminder in game 5.
He does. Oh, it is Mortal Reminder. Okay.
That's what it's called, yeah. But yeah, I mean, dude, this game was nuts because anyone's Legend has a 4,000 gold lead at 26 minutes, but T1 have Dragon Soul. So it's like the fact that anyone's Legend allows T1 to get all of these dragons, and like the Soul Dragon on the fight for the Soul Point for 4th Dragon, they're just straight up 50-50 in it. Both teams are standing there in the river, both hitting the dragon, and they just let the smite be a 50-50. And it's like, we're playing Sejuani. Like, Sejuani doesn't have like a burst combo for this smite. Like, we picked Skarner Sejuani for 4 and 5 for Tarzan, who's one of the best junglers in the world. And we're picking these champions, which I hated to see. And they have all of their ults up. T1 has like, I'm missing like 3 ultimates, and they're still just flipping the dragon instead of fighting. So I hated to see that.
Does he not know Zach? It's so sad.
I mean, he definitely can play everything, in my opinion. He's one of those players that can play any champion.
Zach is a champion that you do need some time on, for sure, though. you need to kind of learn where your gank angles are coming from, how they're going to interact. So even though he's not necessarily the hardest jungler, you do want to have games on him. So it's a question of, do you know it or not?
He's definitely played him before.
Zach would be so good here, as just like a good X factor to be able to push the game in these situations. Because Sejuani isn't really the champion that's going to push the game forward. She's going to enable fights that push the game forward, but you don't get to do it on your own.
She's just not good right now either.
I think she's overstated to hell, but the problem is that the tank items just suck. You're building Heartsteel, you're building Sunfire, you're building Hall of Radiance in jungle, and it's like, man, these just suck. I'm not getting stacked to my Heartsteel. My Sunfire doesn't clear camps really that quickly compared to the AD junglers or Mundo. And I can't go Hall of Radiance this game because I have this AD Ashe, Mundo, and Renekton staring me down, and I don't have any armor. So
and you had the Mel.
Sejuani kind of stinks.
The Mel as well is so good. Oh yeah, I mean, you're so right about the tank items in jungle. Like, they just make the tank junglers so shit. But Faker's Mel this game, I think the death knell in this game was when they stole that Otacon with the Mel execute. And so cool. I think that was, I mean, the fact that it leashed out that far, by the way, like, it should have reset like twice. Like, I'm not really sure why it's just like, it's like still aggro in there. It was actually kind of insane. But, oh, we got a follow, and I forgot to move my box, so now I'm covered up by that thing, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. Thank you, D Psy Soul, for the follow, my goat. But yeah, I mean, AL
that's fine.
With the early game lead here, and they give up all the objectives, but even after they lose the Otacon, they still win, and T1 has the soul. They still win 2 team fights after that point. So their team fighting was so strong, but like the stats that T1 had at that point were just not like too much to overcome, and basically the game just ended with them losing an Elder fight and then losing the game. So overall for me, this series, why I think it was the best one in the tournament was I think it highlighted the strength of both teams. Like I said, you had the AL with their lane assignments are like stellar, obviously extremely well coached team. They have really good lane assignments and rotations around the map. And really strong team fighting, as evidenced by winning team fights even down like the major like super buffs. And T1 strengths that were showed were like the objective setups, vision control, and like their pick ability, like to just play around vision and make picks at good times. So I thought like that kind of back and forth, that tug of war, like showing both team strengths in all these games is really cool.
This is the owner Mundo game where he first picked Mundo on stage.
And then he played it.
I don't know how to play it.
And he was horrible at it, by the way. He was really bad at the Mundo. Like he was not good.
Oh yeah, but he did what he needed to do. Might be a frontline.
I don't think he did what he needed to do. He like got insta-popped in a lot of these fights and just got carried across the finish line by Faker Bell.
Very careful with where you put your credit from T1 here. I don't give my credit to Tom, man. That guy has stumbled into this job, I feel like.
I mean, yeah, a lot of the drafts sucked.
So many times.
Just got 4 of like the greatest players to play together.
You just happen to have a ton of really good players and a guy who's played so long he can coach on the field, and everyone knows exactly what's going on besides one dude, and he's just happy to be here.
My goat, Krug Lord.
Yeah, totally. So, you could definitely put Lord next to his name for something, but like, dude. Speaking of Doran just sprinting it down, the other best series that we've got coming up here, the only other series that went to 5 games, because we, only had 7 best of 5s for our premier Worlds tournament.
Horrendous.
Through the entire year, it was finals.
Yeah, hit us with the finals recap.
T1 came out swinging a little bit. It was a very kind of weird start, in my opinion, because T1 has been this team that we've really seen as solid mechanically, but they get challenged by this team, this KT roster that all year, aside from one other series we've seen them play in, has just been getting stomped by T1. Every single time KT walks up, they have the telecom war stuff, but in the end, it's always T1 winning, and we saw that here in Game 1, but there was a little bit of something different. It was KT coming in with early game plans. It was perfect cousin BDD looking alive here in the early game, and it definitely made this a little more interesting. But they just weren't able to close it out. They weren't able to kind of get over the nameplates for this first game. I don't know about you guys. That's kind of how I view this game. It's like everything hit the wall on third dragon, and T1 was just running away with this game.
T1 wins the patented one team fight win, and the game's just over.
It's
the
that's the LCK
strat.
classic right there. That's honestly the patented Gen G strat.
Oh yeah, except when they play KT apparently. Except
Also,
when they play KT for some reason.
At Worlds, for some reason. But it was... It kind of tees us up into Game 2 where it's KT Rolster, again with the early game planning, and the other really good Rek'Sai game we had this tournament here, by Perfect, who just looks so good, and the other really good Meld game from BDD, who was definitely putting the team on his back. The champ might be a little OP.
Might be a little OP.
Well,
I feel like every game it was played was good.
The first time I've seen an Ezreal and a Sion actually win.
Yeah, the good old Ezreal into Sion. Not that this Ezreal really did anything. The whole game it was kind of just Meld and Rek'Sai that kind of just carried this game, but and Cuz was really good on buy. But when you're ahead on buy, it's really easy to look good.
It's true.
And they had Nico, and I think Nico is disgusting, and that champ should have been permabanned. But
are you on the we need to remove Flash Pop Blossom, or are you?
I think that champ should have been permabanned, like every game.
So it's not.
I don't care
champion,
what.
It's just champ broken.
I think the champ is just disgusting. It is, in my opinion, hot take, maybe not. I think it's the best support, and I don't think it's close. I think like if you play Nico, you're playing like a winning lane, and you have like the best support team fight ult ever.
Pretty much.
I don't think it's a hot take. I think that's true.
This is really easy to pilot fights. That's where the whole so people are starting to call for Nico being able to flash during her ults to get removed, which I guess under the same guise of Galio flash taunt, yeah, it needs to go, but you pull that away from Nico.
But one of them is an ultimate, one of them is a basic ability. So like I feel like you should be able to flash with your ultimate.
I feel like you killed the champ if you take away the flash.
I do agree, but they will probably do that come like first end. I can guess. If the champion continues to be this like powerhouse in the support role, they might do it. I don't know. It'll still be a strong champion, but I think if we still see pro players continue to pick it, which we will, they're going to do something to nerf it, and that's probably what it's going to be. Now that moves us into Game 3. Another great OP performance here, but this time, oh my god, someone's car alarm went off. This time, it's by the Mundo and Cassante, the tanks, just absolutely looking unstoppable.
07
here
Doran.
Best Mundo game of the tournament, by the way.
Exactly how to play Mundo. Yeah, 07 Doran, by the way.
Incredible on the Mundo. It was like, wow, is this what Mundo's supposed to look like? Owner, take notes, dude.
Seriously.
Looks so good. Tons of damage. Funny thing to say there. But also, the last game we saw Peter playing really well. Sadly, he's playing so well. They get up 2-1 off of this, and Peter and Perfect are like two high performers on this roster throughout this entire the first half of the series. They're looking so good. They're looking like they're actually world-class talent now at this point, and they deserve to be in finals. And then Game 4 started. And I remember vividly, I wrote this down to some friends as well. I saw that Cassiopeia get drafted into GUMA Yushi's Callista, and I logged off for the night. I think it was like 3:30, 4 a.m. And I'm like, it's okay. KT has won Worlds. This is such a slam dunk game. There's no way they could throw this. They've got Peter on Tom Kench. All he has to do is eat Duck Dom in lane. All they have to do is make sure that this Callista doesn't get rolling, and there's literally no damage from this T1 roster. And what happened?
And yet, what was their jungler pick?
A Trundle.
Trundle.
Yeah.
Into no tanks.
Yeah.
Which is a horrendous that they even.
And enemy jungler was Nocturne, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Then the Nocturne just looked like Thanos in that game. Like it was like.
It did. And so did Callista, who just looked like, yeah, by the way,
Dude, but BDD
counter picks and it doesn't matter.
Dude, BDD had so many good Cassiopeia ultimates as well. Like he was like doing the most in this game on the Cassiopeia. Like do whatever he could. The best player of the series. Like it's just disgusting.
Of the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Actually.
I'm throwing that out. I'd throw that out there 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Best player of the tournament.
So what happened Game 5 for KT?
Well, we get to Game 5. And it's T1
Strap in
Game
the
5.
Game 5.
Game 5 here. It's LCK Game 5. You know what that means. One team, well, LCK teams typically love to scale. So you know what that means. We're going to first pick York, I believe is what they did.
No, they first picked Ziggs.
Ziggs? Oh, that's even worse. Why the fuck is the pick order?
Oh, Doctum Ziggs is pretty good, to be fair. It's one of his, like, better chips. At least
Is it Game 5 giving up Pantheon in the series, though? Fuck Camille. Camille on R2 is a little funky. But is it worth... Is Zig...
It's not just Camille, it's Dora and Camille.
Yeah, that makes it even easier to...
Yeah, it makes it worse. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I don't give a shit about the Camille. I care about the Pantheon, because the Pantheon has been this, like, super hard to get through jungler throughout the tournament, leading up to here as well. Cuz looked pretty good on the pick, and it's just stupid easy to play. We mentioned give Gumayushi the Ziggs. He's just going to kind of lay an egg. He's going to take towers and not do damage. And they ended up giving them Misfortune Leona with Galio Camille, with Pantheon. T1 got literally one of their premier comps in this game in Game 5. And I don't know how or why or who was smoking crack in the background. Maybe Dom was in a KT coaching booth.
Didn't KT still have an early game lead as well?
Yeah.
Aside from the 0-4 Yorick at like 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the lead is in they're not horrendously down.
Yeah, it was more of like that they were within
draft.
reaching distance.
Yeah. But like there's nothing you can do. You've got Yorick, Sejuani, Smolder mid, Ziggs, Nautilus. There's no winning this game for KT.
I would have liked the Tristana that he hovered instead of the Smolder. Like I feel like you just pick the Tristana there, you can do so much more in the early game.
Yeah, you get it early game. I think they just should have picked perfect like a champ that's if you're gonna play Ziggs Smolder.
Yeah, Jax. Pick Jax. Jax would have been 10 times better. He counters Camille in the side lane eventually. He's way harder to dive than the Yorick. He wouldn't have died 4 times in 10 minutes. Like you're playing Jax there, you're chilling. And he's good at Jax.
Yorick, I don't think this draft's like that bad. I think it's actually quite decent into
it's the
T1 draft.
You just have no
right away.
You have no early game like ability to fight because you have the Smolder that needs to scale, is super weak early. You have Ziggs that also needs to scale and is pretty weak early. You have Yorick who just wants to side lane. So like if he's grouping for early fights, you're just losing the game, which he did and they lost.
Just out of the game, and Peter's just out of the game instantly. You just cut out both of your guys' job to start the game. Like 100%, this should have been a Jax game. Literally could have picked Malphite too. Just fuck it, slam Malphite, see what happens.
Could have R5'd a Malphite this game. It would have been legendary. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Well, they were blue side,
but would have been good. Nah, but it would have been.
Oh shit, they were blue side. Never mind.
Could have B1 the Malphite. Should take that shit. Malphite. Take that shit first.
That would have been a Giga Chat move. But KT kind of iced themselves out here with this Yorick pick.
Unfortunate.
And I think dude, has T1 lost a Game 5 aside from Gen G series? I don't think they have. So it's the team's just too calm. They're like, yeah, we got Faker. We're just gonna win. This guy's got plot armor. Faker gets Galio for some reason. Even then, we're moving into the second phase of picks. We've got Sejuani. Yes, Yorick isn't great. We can still pick the Galio instead of Smolder here and just pick more damage somewhere else.
Galio gets picked on 1-2, right? Doesn't it?
Is it 1-2? I can't see the pick order.
Yeah, they take the Pantheon. They take Pantheon Galio.
I'm 99% positive.
They take Pantheon Galio, and then on 3 they take the Camille.
I'm pulling up the series.
Yeah, it's Pantheon Galio.
The Game of Legends
when they see Ziggs. And then they pick Yorick Nautilus into that, which is just like, are we really blind picking Yorick?
Yeah, like Doran's a Camille player and Camille counters Yorick, so it's like it's just horrendous. But
also,
I think
they've shown Galio Pantheon. Like, what did you expect of this?
Yeah, it's like the freest Camille game ever.
Okay, now I've got the draft. Now I've got the actual draft in the right order. Holy shit! Yeah, this is just Yorick on 2. Are they expecting? Are they thinking he's gonna take Galio top here?
Definitely not. I don't think
Rumble's already been played.
Rumble's
so
already been played too, so I don't know what the hell they're cooking with this Yorick here, unless maybe at some point they said this is a mid flex, guys, and just moved on with their life.
Just channeling the Kazuto energy.
Maybe they thought Doran couldn't play anything else because they banned Ornn. Also, their bans are like weird. They banned Draven Ornn in Game 5.
They just like Yushi could play it. That's crazy.
Yeah, he could play it, but like, also he's not. If you're planning on, I guess if you're planning on playing Ziggs, you have to ban Draven because you can't play that matchup.
Yeah.
But if you're planning on playing Yorick, you can keep Ornn up and just like permanently shut Ornn out of the game.
Duck Dom's good at Ziggs, but we still got Jhin. Jhin is here still.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jhin gets.
And that's one of Duck Dom's best champions.
It's also one of his better champions. You could just like if we want this to be one, because Ziggs is gonna struggle the same way that Jhin is. It's just Ziggs has a little easier on the wave clear mid lane, but he's still gonna die. So I don't really get what they're doing here personally.
They were denying the R5 Malphite, dude. That had to be it. Literally the only option. If you play Jhin here, they're R5ing Malphite for sure.
Oh yeah, and I mean, hey, T1 they clutched it out like you guys said. They won this game. A bit of a draft gap. The T1 KT kind of handicapping themselves here.
Does Red Side? Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say, does Red Side lose drafts in Game 5 Fearless? And then I remembered that in fact they do lose. It's when FlyQuest is playing it.
Yeah, it's only when FlyQuest. But I kind of think, dude, I feel like this world's like meta. I feel like it was kind of like a referendum on like the meta coming into Worlds, like in the season prior, because you had prio picks like Annie was like in every series you saw picked. You saw a ton of Sejuani, Skarner, Silas. Dude, all of these champions that I just listed had a 0% win rate at Worlds. They won 0 games.
What stops Annie from being in this meta anyway? Because like
I think she's just a little too telegraphed, and her strong laning phase isn't strong enough. Like, she's not really a carry. And
what did they nerf her to change everyone's thoughts, though? Because it's not like the mid pool changed that much in between this year.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, like, people, like, also they know how to play against her more, and they're just picking better mages into her and stuff. Like, but, yeah, Annie, Skarner, Sejuani, and Silas all have 0% win rates. And I was like, anytime a team locked in Skarner or Sejuani in like 4 or 5, they lost, obviously, because they didn't win any games. But like we saw so many like Game 5 Sejuanis that just completely lost the game and were useless. Like it was really hard to see. And then other picks that were like picked a little bit more. There was around 15 on average for these ones. Was like Vi, Kaisa, Pantheon, Caitlyn. They only had 30% win rates. So like these champions weren't really doing that well either. I mean, Pantheon, like you said, had some strong games, but overall, like, did not have a good win rate at the tournament.
I think, like, the Vi Panth specifically, more comes from them being played by teams that aren't able to pilot those champions. Because that's what we saw with J4. Pretty famous, again, he repeated the Callista thing from MSI.
Yeah, he was like 0-7 or something early on.
Yeah, he just kept losing. I think he went to, like, 0-9, and then it went straight to, like... Was it 0-11?
I thought it was 0-11. That's what I thought I heard. I don't.
It lost so many series, and then literally from the last post they did, he just the J4 game just absolutely jumped up.
It did lose in the finals. I think the only game it lost was in finals.
After that, but it's. I can actually pull it up here, match list.
Yes, I believe, according to what I can see, yes, it did. It only lost the game in finals. So yes, in knockout stage.
Yeah, but I look at like, okay, who's playing this J4 and and like what team are they on? Decimus, Elioya, Peanut, fine. Inspired into T1, Beishuan into 100 Thieves, Histo on Team Secret, Decimus again on Vikings, Kanavi into KT Rolster. Like the players that are playing this champion are just being given it. So I think that's a very similar case with like the Vi getting spread around as well, and so on. But I think too many people are a little too focused on win rates that they're forgetting that they're not changing too much on these champions. Like the difference between say peak jungle Pantheon and current jungle Pantheon is like 3 seconds, 4 seconds of clear speed. That's it.
It was like 10% less damage on his Q Monster Mud or something like that.
But the confirm, your confirm is still like 2K. It's still high enough to only get matched by like what, Echo with Lichbane and an item. I remember doing the math with someone on my team. But like Pantheon confirm is still like objective confirm is still one of the best in the game.
I think it's really more about that, like the first 6 camp clear kind of thing, where it's like he used to be faster on the map.
Yeah, he used to be able to like sub 3:15 convincingly, and like a person that has an hour in jungle could do it. But now it's 3:15 and fine. That's more than enough time to still get up a gank. That's more than enough time to do anything on the map. And the champion is still OP in team fights. It's still a Pantheon.
Yeah,
they didn't change really much about his team fighting. So why are we writing off champions for 4 seconds of clear speed? And then we're still picking champions who majorly got their clear speed changed. I'm thinking of Skarner, who like lost 10, 15 seconds of his clear speed coming in from last Worlds to this Worlds. And dude, I just don't get it.
He just looked horrible. I think the tank junglers just looked horrible. Like Sejuani Skarner obviously had 0% win rates.
The tank junglers just looked horrible. But it's just people like picking and choosing where they want to see their stats and see their gains. And I really do think I really started to get annoyed when I was like looking around and people are just continually talking about win rates, about picks. Because like think of what's one of the best mid laners you think of? Because when I think of one of the better mid laners of the tournament, I think of Ryze.
He had a really bad win rate. It was like 30% or something, 40%.
Yeah, the win rate was terrible, but the games where he was being played in the environment he's supposed to be played in, the way he's supposed to be played, holy shit, how do you stop this champion?
I think that win rate, that low win rate, kind of always stems from people think a champion's so OP that they can pick it in any draft, and they pick it in bad spots and then lose because they picked it in a bad spot. So I think that's a lot of what that boils down to. But, you know, speaking of picking and choosing, if we could pick, you know, what would possibly create... Well, you know, actually, I'll skip that one and go to the next one. So we'll touch that later. But pick your top 5 players of this world in role. So, like, your world's all-pro team. From top to support, who would be the 5 players you would say
you go first.
Are best in each role?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I think top lane is, like, the easiest one because it's just Flandre, right? Like, I'm trying to think of anybody that's even close to play as good as Flandre did.
Based.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like,
if you're
on some co-person, but
no, I agree.
Knockout bias, you can make a case for perfect, but I think the approach, aside from the top esports series, the approach to knockouts was relatively easy for KT. And
they got to play Koi, which they should have lost, by the way, the Koi game. And then they played Secret Whales, right?
Yeah, Secret Whales, and then Top. They look good against Top.
They did look really good against Top.
369's a good test for like, hey, are you actually a good top laner? Perfect, look good. But I agree with Flandre, 100%. No questions asked. And then I think moving into jungle,
I have Flandre as well.
Jungle starts to get pretty hard because we can say Tarzan. I think you can make a case for Cuz, and I think you can make a case for Owner.
I'd say Cuz.
I'm going to say Tarzan.
I was going to say Owner. I think Owner's the best.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there for once. You know, okay, so the reason I say Cuz is because he had more convincing performances than Owner did, who I think is the other one in contention. I don't think I put Tarzan up there. But Cuz looked better on a lot of the world's meta picks, like Kiana and Mundo, than Owner did. And he was also good on the other picks as well, like the Vi and the Jarvan and the Pantheon. Like he had banger games on those. But like how bad Owner's Mundo looked, and the fact that he doesn't play Kiana, but Cuz is pulling those out and like actually performing well on those as well. Like I think Cuz just looked like a more complete player at this Worlds.
But Owner just like what Owner does for like his team is so good too, because you can tell he's directing the game. He's the one that makes people go. And I mean, if you want to include like just straight up like pure individual performance, probably Cuz is slightly better. But I think what Owner did for his team gives him that slight edge.
He's just piloted by Faker. He's just Faker's pink ward.
Mundo.
He was when he played Mundo. The comms are even.
Faker doesn't know how to play Mundo either.
When I think of players that drive teams, I do think of Tarzan every time.
Oh, for sure.
And I pull a little bit of bias from before Worlds coming in, and just knowing the performance that I can see out of Tarzan, and we almost saw that again. But a big thing too is just he looked great in virtually every game. Really, the only game AL looked bad in was the one where literally the entirety of the team looked bad, which was AL versus CFO. Game 1, I believe, is what it was. Yeah, Game 1. Where they just kind of got astro-gapped both in draft and in game. Honk, you had a phenomenal game against them, but that's really the only bad mark on Tarzan there, who got stuck on the Maokai duty with Flandre on Kled top into Scion, so GG, well played.
Game 4 Tarzan versus Owner was pretty bad. I thought his Skarner was really bad.
The Skarner was not
like
ideal.
Possibly an unplayable draft they drafted themselves into, so I'll give him maybe the benefit, but it looked like that.
But he had the best Skarner ults of anybody at the tournament. He had like multiple like 3 and 4 man Skarner ultimates.
Yeah, but
just nothing happened. Nothing happened after he ulted them.
I'll give that on the pretty low bar. But I will continue to tout around Tarzan as my favorite jungler here. But like there is
he's definitely my favorite jungler here, and he's definitely better than Cuz. But I think like if we just look at the World's performance, I think I would take Cuz.
Yeah, I can give that up. I will.
You know what? You guys can convince me enough that I can see where Cuz is better. I would still probably say Owner. I think Owner's just complete players, just played slightly better. But
like if I gotta write it down on a piece of paper, I'm writing down Tarzan, but I can agree with Cuz.
Yeah.
So mid lane.
AP vote.
I think we're all going to have the same vote on this one. I think it's. I think BDD.
No question.
Hold on.
BDD is pretty obvious.
One. It's BDD.
BDD.
Okay, we do all have the same one.
Yeah, so
BDD was definitely.
There's no question.
Best player at the event is just unbelievably good. If there was
a tournament award, he should win it. Obviously, there's not, but.
Well, there's a tournament award. It was the World's 2025 Championship Trophy. Unfortunately, he didn't win that.
Like an overall tournament award, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Individual award.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So, I mean, we don't have to touch on that one too much. That's pretty obvious. He was the best player at the tournament.
No, I thought Faker was pretty...
Faker was good. Faker was better.
This year, I thought Faker was really good. Like this
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Not old Faker, not prime like old Faker, but this was like, oh shit, he's no longer a weaker link of the team. Like he was I think the second best
He was
player
better. He was better this year than he was the last 2 years at the championship, which is saying something. Like he actually played really well.
Playing well again.
Yeah, I completely agree. AD carry. I personally have Viper. I'm just a Viper enjoyer. I think
my heart.
I think he just had such like disgusting performances, like on Viper Life Esports in the lost to Gen G when they lost 1-3. He had, bro. He went 28. He went 28, 8, and 24 with a 6.5 KDA in a 1-3 loss. He had the most DPM in the game. He had 1100 DPM, and he had the highest CS per minute with 9.7 in that series, even though they lost. Just absolutely smurfing.
Right now.
My gosh.
He was absolutely smurfing.
Viper his heart out the entire time.
Viper is incredible. Yeah.
Dirty Inter Zeka. It's 100% Viper. It's just so sad we didn't get to see him more. Double elimination, wink, wink.
But Dirty Inter Zeka, they got Peanut over there. What do you?
I'm throwing on Zeka because I think it's really funny that I think what is like a day or two after Hanwha Life got eliminated, the rumor started circling around that they were talking tonight to try and get him to come on over. And
imagine that team.
I think it's so funny to think that if Zeka found out about that and he started soft inting the team, because he found out that he was now.
When things get hard, I get harder.
But it would be funny if it was true.
It would be funny if it's true. It definitely didn't happen, but it would be really funny if it was true, and I'm going to run with that because it's funny. But yeah, it's Viper in terms of performance. You can, if you are very results-based, you can make a case for Duckdom, who's, like, stat-wise, did look phenomenal. Like, his damage share was great, his gold was great. Eye test, he looked fine.
I ain't never voted for Duckdom for anything, man. That guy sucks.
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for
fuck
it,
Duckdom.
But like you can stare at the stats and look at, and it's like, yeah, his stats look good. You pick him on fantasy, but
the problem is when I look at the game and I'm watching
constantly. He's in the wrong spot in team fights. He's dying in the ruler spot more than ruler. He's playing dives really weird. It's very obvious that the guy is just not experienced at this level of pressure, at this level of games, and that's fine. This team 100% wasn't even meant to make Worlds, let alone finals, let alone knockouts. So it's good on him, but yeah, it's just Viper.
It's just Viper.
I think Viper is the easiest choice. I mean, okay, I'm gonna say it because I know neither of you will say it. I thought GUMA played really well too. I think there's not like a net zero argument for GUMA to play.
He's 2. I think he's 2.
Yeah. I think Viper is the best AD carry in the world, and I'm totally not biased at all because he's like definitely not my favorite player.
You gotta put your Viper profile picture back.
Oh yeah, I gotta put my Viper profile picture back on.
I mean, I think it's fair to say GUMA number 2. I think he played really well for T1, and especially when the series got later on. In a lot of their matches, so I think that's completely fair. But for support, I think we're all going to have the same thing for this one as well. It's obviously Cannon Minion Nico was the support MVP in this tournament with taking like 19 tower shots on every dive. It's absolutely disgusting. They've since removed that, by the way. They took that off.
Did they remove
her? They did. They said when she gets hit by a tower shot, she transforms back into Nico, which thank God.
It's cool that they can do it, but it was really broken.
It was such an exploit, bro. It was so insane.
Say, though,
take like 6 tower shots.
They were going to remove it last time this happened, and it didn't.
And they didn't.
So
they had to let Carrier use it.
Idea, just a little too strong.
Yeah. It's way too good. I
but
think it'd be fine
Carrier
if
for support
took the same damage, but didn't. It's Carrier for support. It's so hard to make another case. He's just so mechanically good. He's 100% the other core member of T1 now that I'd put next to Fakers. Like, if you're T1, it's Carrier. If T1's trying to find their next brand player, it's going to be Carrier, I think. There'll be a discussion between, like, Carrier and Owner, but I think it's Carrier.
I think Carrier's a better player, but if you're talking brand, Owner is a better brand.
Yeah, Owner's got a great brand. They've got a lot of great aura pictures, just like the Shy. And that seems to be what hype moments in aura farming does seem to pass a long way for League of Legends. So that could be it. Honorable mention to it's hard to say it as an honorable mention, but like Kyle did look pretty good.
That guy's good.
But really, he's good. He's solid. But I think of like Duro, Peter, the last 2 games.
I thought Peter was really good for
really
compared to what he was all year.
Bro, he was trying to Neo in the Matrix dodge the bullets in the Misfortune ultimate while standing inside of it.
Yeah, let's not talk about Game 5 Peter though. Okay,
the Game 4, Game 5
he gets one
Peter,
bad one.
It's the same thing. I think I said this in Split 2 with Vulcan, where it's like he had a phenomenal tournament, but the last couple games that I saw him play, it's like I cannot in good faith say that you're in the, like, I'd put you in this list.
Dude, it's those players. It's those freaking players with just the first name as their gamer tag. Like Mark from, they used to be on Top Esports on support, Peter, like Philip that was an LCS top leader. Like, they're all trash. Like, they're always bad. All right, brother. Before you go, how ridiculous is the statement that all the players on T1 are now the GOATs? Because there was a bit of a tweet here that had come up
all the players,
which I think you saw.
No.
Where like they're putting
I think
T1 is all the top players.
100% can, and I think you can start to make the owner case, but like, I need to see so much more from GUMA because he isn't even the best AD carry of his time right now.
Agreed.
And Doran is pretty much inheriting a dynasty, so there's just no.
Well, it didn't include Doran on this list. The tweet was 5 best players in League of Legends history in order from Express LOL: Faker, Carrier, Owner, GUMA, and Mata. And then I had a semi-viral comment on there that said GUMA is in a top 4 AD carry of all time, much as a top 4 player of all time. And I put Ruler, Viper, Uzi, and Deft above him. And people got pissed. There were people in the comments, how can you say GUMA is better than Deft when he's won 3 worlds?
I love Mata.
He's not a top 5 player of all time.
He's not a top 5 player of all time, man.
It's just straight up not.
That's ridiculous. But I do think like the core 3, the Owner, Faker, Carrier, the people that we can call like the brand image of T1, 100%. They can very much be in their GOAT conversations. Carrier and Faker happily in their role conversations. Owner has just a little bit more work to do there. I want to see this whole year of high level performance, phenomenal from him. If I can see that even just into first stand next season, I'm good. I'm happy. I'll put him there. I will vomit in my mouth when I say it because I spent 2 years flaming this guy, but he looked really good, and he can 100% be the jungle goat. Doran, no. Zeus needs the titles, and now he's not on T1, so he won't get titles anymore. So
now hold on, wait a minute. They might build the Hanwha Life esports team that might be able to win.
Knight is rumored back to JDG right now, so no.
I saw Viper rumored back to LPL as well.
I did also see that, and I'm very sad about it.
To guess where? JDG, baby, we're back.
We're so
we
back.
love the Chinese billionaire money. It's so good, bro. LPL's got like another year or 2 left before it collapses, so we're gonna ride that high until it disappears. All the teams are losing money. Anyway, I gotta hop out. You do your outro.
Yeah, we'll wrap up here. We got a few more things to touch on. All right, so I think that my camera is probably just having me in both spots right now. So let me go ahead and.
It's just having you in both spots.
Let me go ahead and hide that one, unlock this one, and just adjust it real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, it's certainly not GUMA, and it's not Mata. It's probably Faker, Carrier, Owner. I mean, certainly if I was talking about GOATs of mid laner and GOATs of support, I would put Faker, Carrier. I think the things Carrier did is like defining the way you play support now.
Yeah, like I agree.
I don't think people were gonna be playing like the Nico's the way that he plays it. I mean, nobody plays Kalista support. Nobody plays Jhin support. None of those things. I mean, he made people play Ashe support. I remember that was like his thing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Carrier is definitely up there in the conversation for one of the best. I think he is the best support of all time at this point. But it was just so funny, like in the comments to this, like people were absolutely molded. Like, how can you say Viper is better and Deft are better than GUMA when GUMA just won Worlds? And it's like,
if you put Viper on that team, they'd be the greatest team.
Exactly, they'd be better. And like, just look at the like achievements from these players as well. Like, I'll just read you real quick Viper's like tournament history. He has won the Kespa Cup in 2018. He won LPL Summer in 2021. He won Worlds in 2021. He won LCK 2024 Summer. He won the LCK Cup in 2025. And then he won First Stand in 2025. That's a lot of wins. And the 2 of those wins are international events. And it's a lot of domestic wins as well. And then Deft is like another conversation entirely. He played since 2014. He won OGN in 2014. He won the LPL Masters in 2014. He won the G League in 2014. He won the Demacia Cup in 2015. He won LPL Spring and Summer in 2015, and he won MSI in 2015.
Okay,
he won then he went over to the LPL in that 2015, and then he won again in 2016 in the LPL. Won the 2017 Kespa Cup. Came back to the LCK. Won 2018 Summer. Won Worlds 2022, and. I'll just read you GUMA's wins here real quick. GUMA has won LCK 1 time in 2022. And then he's won And then he's won these 3 worlds. Which, like, sure, it's impressive, obviously, to win the 3 worlds back to back to back, but that doesn't anywhere come close to eclipsing the career of those 2 men that I just listed. Like,
there are
the amount
of GUMA that are like really good. Him being that high is like, and they robbed Carrier of the MVP. I will die on this hill.
I agree with that
Carrier
completely.
Should have been the MVP. GUMA was useless and not important, other than the Callista game in which he was like hard carried that game. Even though I thought Baker's Anivia was like really important to that team comp, but that's beyond the point. But Carrier got robbed.
I agree. That's why they call him GUMA useless. You know.
I like GUMA. I think GUMA's a good player, but man, he was the worst. No, Doran was the worst player on the team, but he was the second worst player on the team.
But surely he's not a top 4 like player of all time. Like that's just insane, right? Like I'm not taking crazy pills to like he doesn't get to be a top 4 player of all time for winning just a couple of worlds.
League right now.
Yeah, he's not even the best player in his team. Like he's not even in the top 4. I mean, he's just barely a top 4 player in his team. Like, like I think he might be the 4th best player on his team.
Well, he certainly is the 4th best player. But his team is like, to be fair, he
wasn't when they had Zeus. He was the worst player in his team when they had Zeus. But dude, like if I could look at like someone like Perks on AD carry, like he won LEC 2019 spring and summer. He won LEC 2020 spring and summer, and also won MSI 2019. So that right there is already like, for a role swap player, I'm not going to say it's comparable to Gumayusi's record, but it is the same. It is like roughly the same amount of event wins. So I'm just saying he won the international and he won more domestic splits than GUMA. So Perks to carry better than GUMA? You know, who can know?
Well, maybe we'll stop there.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. But yeah, other than that, you know, I think there was a lot of conversation as well around double elimination for this Worlds, which I think just when I was trying to think back and like think of what series at this tournament were good, the fact that I could only think of like 2 series that were actually good, it just makes me like sad that at the best event of the year, we don't just get like more matches, because all of the best tournaments in the year, like the LPL playoffs is, in my opinion, the most fun tournament of the year. Then you have the LCK playoffs, which is always fun, until this year when they kind of took away the final, which was stupid, but I think they're bringing it back next year. But those are all double elimination. You get multiple best of 5s between all the best teams. You get sick lower bracket runs from teams like World Elite at times. You know, I think KT went through the lower bracket, I believe, to qualify for this Worlds. But I know
they won their first match versus
That's right. And Gen G had to go through the lower bracket to win. So
I will say, part of the reason the matches were like bad is because teams were not good. Like BLG being bad was like really hurt the quarterfinals being bad. Because imagine if instead of Flying Oysters, we have BLG playing top at their top of their league. Then you get Gen G BLG potentially. Like that would have been an insane series. So I think a big reason that it looked bad too was because BLG was not good, and the rest of the league, like the Korean teams, were just so much better than everybody else that it didn't really matter who they played essentially.
Honestly, yeah, and I think that double elimination kind of solves that too, because you get a whole other extra week of prep. You get to scrim in the Worlds environment. You know, maybe a team like BLG actually figures out what the best strategy for them is, and they start playing better because they have more time to like learn and like play more matches. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but you know, even still, like the point stands. Like a team like Top Esports, or maybe even like a Gen G coming in through the lower bracket and stuff. Like just seeing more matches with these top teams is something that I think is just a net positive, and I think everybody would like it, even the people that act like they wouldn't like it. Like they wouldn't hate to see another matchup of like HLE versus like BLG or something like that. That's like always going to be a banger.
Yeah.
And I think
I will play the devil's advocate in this one, though, because I do think double elimination is fine. If they decide to do it, I'm happy. I love watching more games. But there is something about watching KT and DRX, especially those two, just run to the finals and win. Well, obviously KT didn't win, but they could have won, and DRX did win. Because I will say, if Gen G lost to KT but had double elimination, doesn't feel that hype if Gen G runs the table and just wins. Like, I'm sorry, people that try to tell me that that's like hype. I think it's like, if the favorite runs the bottom table and wins anyways, it's like, what was the point of playing double elimination other than we got to watch them
I
play?
think that's hype. I think that's hype because when you're in the lower bracket, you have the exact same stakes that you have in the single elimination bracket. So every single match is an elimination match. And when you're Gen G, like every time you win, that pressure, you just get more and more and more pressure. And it's even more of a test for them. It's like to not crack because they have even more series to play. And, you know, to the DRX example, like imagine if DRX had made that Worlds run through the lower bracket. Like how much more hype would that have been? Like where you get to see them like go the whole way, run the gauntlet, get to the finals, and then have the final boss waiting there in T1 to like win the whole thing after like a lower bracket run. Like that's super hype. I would have loved to see that.
Hype. But there's a difference between Gen G running the lower bracket and DRX. Is one of them was the favorite, the other one wasn't even supposed to be there. If the lower team runs a bottom bracket, that's the most hype you can get. It's when a top tier team loses to a lower tier team and then runs the lower bracket and then just wins, that it's not cool. That's why I don't. That's like the downside to playing double elimination.
But
if
then
Gen G got to run
still
again,
more
I'm pretty
games.
sure Gen G runs to everybody. Yeah,
it's still more games of the best team in the world. Then like you get to see them tested to the limit, and then you know when you're Gen G in that situation, if you are playing in the lower bracket and having to play up to the person that's in the winner in the finals, like you have to show so much. So the amount of innovation you have to make, especially in Fearless, is just insane. Like they're probably going to be bringing out crazy strats because they want to hide stuff, or they don't, or they have to have new stuff that they can't show yet, but maybe they have to pull it out if it goes to game 5 or something.
Yeah,
like,
because you have to win, right? And there is definitely like a lot of cool things. I'm not gonna like say anything's wrong with having double elimination, and if they did, it'd be pretty sweet. But you don't get to see. I don't think a KT doesn't make it to finals if it's double elimination. Okay, they're not gonna beat Hanwha Life, Gen G again. Like it's just not, they're not gonna do it again.
They could. It's the same percent chance.
If they did,
it's the same percent chance when they play them as when they played them the first time.
What happened when Gen G did it in LCK? If I'm correct, they 3-0'd KT when they played them again. They did take a 5-gamer to T1. Shocker, the world champions can take you to 5 games any day. And for some reason, Gen G T1 is always a 5-gamer. But then they 3-0'd KT the second time they played it, and they 3-1'd it. And the only reason they won the one game was because I'm pretty sure if I remember, that was Viper, like, solo carried them and dragged them over the line to win that game.
It's a Viper Life esports moment for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
so, like,
that's
not that exciting to me.
I mean, I could see
if KT would have done that, that would have been sweet. So that's why
it would have been. And that's why because there's always the chance for that kind of a lower bracket run from any team in double elimination, as opposed to like in single elimination when you lose, you're just out, and then we just don't get to see that team anymore. Like I would have loved to see more of Hanwha Life at this tournament, for example. Like they definitely, like, you get to have situations like in this tournament is a perfect example of a team like T1. They get to go to the finals without playing the other 2 best teams of the tournament. In Gen G and HLE, like it straight up just didn't have to play the other 2 best teams of the tournament.
How was that?
And you will never, you will never convince me that KT is actually better than Gen G and HLE. They're just not. Like they won on the day, but
2-1 against them in best of 5s in the last 3 best of 5s.
They're just not better. Perfect and fucking Darkdom are not better than fucking Keen and Ruler. That will never be true. I mean, maybe BDD you can make an argument has been the best mid laner of the year. I actually agree with that. In some respects, but I think Chovy, like his overall year, he's right now in contention for esports player of the year, which I think is well deserved with how dominant they were pretty much all year. He's just the truth.
It's unfortunate that he underperformed in his series, like to his standards.
Yeah, I agree. The Orianna game was really bad, but other than that, I think
his Anivia game was not great either. It didn't feel like he did anything. I
don't think he could do anything with his team's draft that game and how they played. His top laner and like jungle and support were all like 0-5 at like 20 minutes or something like that. It was like actually horrendous. It's actually horrendous.
Is incredible too, but that's not like how is Lucian supposed to get through Ornn Moon though?
Yeah. It's just it's not a thing. But yeah, I mean, double elimination exists in every other tournament. I don't think they're adding it for first stand. I know they expanded the bracket for first stand, but now that it's an MSI, I think MSI is just the best tournament of the year with how that all 2 teams from every region and double elimination, best of 5s. It's just such a banger to watch. So I hope they make that change for Worlds. I would love to see just more games. I just saw a lot of people saying this Worlds kind of felt flat. It didn't feel like there was a lot of really good series, and I think we kind of touched on that in the podcast here today with like basically there was 2 good series. It was just ALT1 and then the finals. And
I think
it kind of feels bad.
Korean teams are just better. This year it was like everyone knew the three Korean teams were just better than the rest of the league.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, seeing more games from them as well is always going to be good too.
Yeah.
So
It's not bad for Double Nation, but you do kind of miss the Cinderella stories sometimes. It's a lot harder to do a Cinderella story, I should say.
Which would make the Cinderella story even better. You really got to squeeze into that glass slipper. But
it would make it better if it happened. It's just less likely to happen. That's all.
But even if they don't add it, I do think they need to seed the Swiss stage. Like either change what you're doing with the Swiss stage or make it seeded. Because just pretending that Vivo Keed Stars and like top esports are on the same tier of team is just insane. Like
they do this thing in another game that Riot owns that Valorant does, and it is just the best way to do groups, period. Like they play 4 groups, 4 teams apiece. You play each team once, and then you're in a bracket, and there's a loser's bracket. You lose twice, you're done. The games are over. It's great. Best of 3s. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, if only there was some system that Riot would be familiar with, where in another esport that they could just copy and put into League of Legends.
They made themselves too, and that looks great.
Imagine that. But speaking of that,
literally all these issues.
They did fix the issues with the LCS format as well. So we completely cut out BO1s. There's no more BO1s. We have the lock-in tournament now with BO3 Swiss into double limb BO5, and we got first stand format changed, so that's pretty hype. And they changed the names of Split 2 and 3 back to Spring and Summer, so they're really just bringing back all the hits here.
I realized that LTA was
changing it to what it was when it was good. Yeah, like who could have known that this would be flop and be a complete disaster? Like everybody, the second they changed it, was like, nope, this is bad. We shouldn't do this. They're like, but what if it's actually good? It's like, no, it's not good.
Wait, hold on, guys. What if it's good?
Our data suggests that this is good, and we have Mark Z here in this YouTube video to gaslight you. It's just so cringe. But I won't keep you too much longer. I think that'll pretty much do it. Unless you have any final thoughts here on Worlds or the LCS.
I'm excited to see the LCS. It should be hopefully more evenly matched with the distribution of talent now. I would hope at least we'll have 3-ish good teams, as long as Isles isn't playing support for one of them.
Bro, Isles is already confirmed for Lion. I'm pretty sure.
They're really trying to.
That just sucks, bro. I'm tired of these OS players thinking like, oh, CFO's really good. Represent the LCP. LCP is good now, and it's like, yeah, but not you. It's like that meme where it's like, thank you, but not you. Like,
you play?
But every time I see an Australian player play in the LCS or anywhere, I'm reminded that they're Australian from the OS League because they are ass. He was a little bit, but like a couple years before that, he was ass for a long, long time, and Isles has always been bad. So I don't know.
When Lee Sin Top was OP though, let me tell you, Fudge was goaded on Lee Sin
Top. Bro, he was living off that. He was living off that for like 3 years afterwards. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
He might be the only good. Well, FBI was pretty decent too. Like, they're serviceable.
Yeah.
I guess serviceable. I mean, especially on that 100 Thieves team, you didn't need to do.
I'm just saying, if they counted as imports, they wouldn't be in the league. But yeah, so that
might be.
That's
maybe.
Well, on that note, Fudge Factor, we'll see if he does well in 2026 LCS, and we will see you guys next time for all the updated roster moves. Thanks for joining me, Beesin.
No problem.
We will catch you guys later.